All right, the question today all around the unemployment rate. So we saw now that yesterday's figures came out saying that the unemployment rate has now increased by 0.5 percentage point, so 0.5%. It's sitting now at 27.6%. The question is, what do you believe needs to be done to create jobs in South Africa? It's a simple yet complicated question that, honestly, if we're not doing it, perhaps somebody out there has an idea how to do it. And
Absolutely.
That's the reality.
And I guess we're asking for solutions this morning because it doesn't seem as though we're making any sort of meaningful inroads with regard to coming up with a tangible solution to the unemployment crisis. I don't think it's a problem anymore. It is now a crisis in this country. It has been a crisis for quite some time. But of course, you know, we're talking about 27.6%. 27.6%, and that is as per the narrow definition. By the expanded definition, you know, most will tell you that it's around 40% in real terms.
Yeah.
And so it is quite a serious problem that we are faced with.
In other words, in simple terms, it says Statistics South Africa, with the numbers that they put out, are basically saying that the number of employed persons has decreased by 237,000 people for the first 3 months of this year.
Yeah.
So that, in a nutshell, is what we're looking at, and that is 237,000 people, not to mention the extended people that are struggling due to that. So, yeah, it's a big issue. It's a very, very big issue.
So fewer people employed, and all the while there is a new cohort of people coming in who are seeking employment. And, you know, if you look at that, I think it equates to about 0.4%. And you look at, you know, where we are tracking in terms of growth, economic growth, it's not good.
Yeah, not at all. All right,
Not
so
good.
there you go. That's the conversation we're having today. We really, really want you to join this conversation. In fact, in the second hour of the program, I see that we're going to be joined by Statistician General Risenga Maluleke, as well as economist Azan Jamin, to talk more about these figures. So stay tuned for that. But now, the big stories of the day. Let's take a look at what's going to be on the news diary.
So first up, President Cyril Ramaphosa is to participate in an investor conference hosted by Goldman Sachs Group.
The state capture inquiry resumes today, with Transnet continuing on the stand.
And Kwaito star Amandla Maphumulo appears in the Pinetown Magistrates Court on assault charges against his girlfriend, Babes Wotumo.
All right, and as we spoke a bit earlier, I think it was last week or this week, I'm not even sure. My weeks are muddled. They're back together, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So there we go. That's what's going to be happening in the court, and maybe she'll be standing by his side during all of it. I'm not sure. So there we go. That's what to expect on the news diary. Trending topics now. Let's see what South Africans were speaking about overnight and yesterday. Of course, unemployment. I think we've spoken about that enough. It's our question of the day. It's been in the news. We're going to have our interview, but it is a dire situation for South Africa. 237,000 less people are employed or lost their jobs in the first 3 months of this year. So that number now sitting at 27.6%. That's what the unemployment rate for South Africa is at.
And then moving on to the next one, and that is, of course, hashtag eThekwini. And this centers around the executive mayor of the city of Durban and the municipality of eThekwini, Zandile Kumete there. And she, of course, handed herself over to be absolutely accurate yesterday morning to the Hawks. And a long line of people being arrested here and being charged with fraud and corruption with regard to a particular tender. But of course, so much talk around the timing of this immediately after the elections, questions of whether this is a purge by the Ramaphosa faction within the ANC. But of course, you cannot get away from the malfeasance. If it is there, the Hawks say that they have a prima facie case to follow up on. that's how it goes.
And so be it. I know I was also seeing talk about the sort of handling of police towards media and the aggression that was going on. But that's...
Well, it was around that, but apparently, as far as I could ascertain, it wasn't the police. It was supporters, her supporters who were in the court in their numbers, and they basically blocked the media from even getting a picture of her in the dock.
All right. Okay. So that was eThekwini, and that's what was going on. So there, I think, a picture of the supporters gathering outside the court. The next trending topic, quite interestingly, actually, is it's Oranje. Now, reason Oranje is trending. The grandson of architect of apartheid, Dr. H.F. Verwoerd, is reportedly making his way to Parliament on a Freedom Front Plus ticket. Now, this is where Oranje comes into the picture. It's reported that Dr. Wynand Boshoff is the son of Oranje founder, Professor Karel Boshoff, and the Freedom Plus leader in the Northern Cape has scored that seat in the National Assembly because of the phenomenal growth of Freedom Front Plus. So everybody now talking to Oranje, talking to the fact of what actually is going on there, and that's the man that's going to make his way. Yeah.
That's Karel Boshoff, the founder of
Oranje. So,
with a bust of Hendrik Verwoerd behind it.
And his son is now going to Parliament, so interesting time.
Yeah, remember that's where Madiba, President Nelson Mandela, went to meet Betsy Verwoerd, the widow of H.F. Verwoerd.
In Oranje.
In Oranje, when he made that trip,
Interesting. All right, there we go. So
And
there we go. And then the final one, Griezmann, I'll leave it to you.
Antoine Griezmann, of course, Atletico Madrid and France midfielder. He's making his way out of Atletico, out of Madrid.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, he's going to Barcelona.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. My son will be happy about that one.
Yeah.
And
but
more
I think it was long
supporters.
overdue. He was always going to leave Atletico. They weren't big enough for him.
I was just hearing numbers, though, as to how much money he's being paid. Did you hear the number?
Yeah. We shan't get into the numbers and what people get paid, because it's very depressing, Leanne.
It is. And people say, can you believe that people get paid this much money to kick a ball around a field? I was laughing because I know that kind of is how I look at it, but I don't know if anybody else looks at it that way. So I took a here's the number.
Don't.
The 28-year-old Griezmann has a contract until 2023 with Atletico, but has a buyout clause of 120 million euros, $134 million. Would you like to do the calculation into rands?
I hate to tell you that there are players getting paid way more than that.
Oh, anyway, okay. I'm sure Vaden will bring us more on the sports news. To kick a ball around the field. Wow, that's
hard
nice.
work. It's hard work. Skill, practice, it's hard work.
Okay, all right. Rob Byrne, good morning to you. How about that, a buyout clause? I mean, if ever, someone else wants to buy you, you've got a clause in your contract.
Do you have one, Rob? Do you have a buyout clause?
No. And if I did, certainly not that impressive. Nowhere near it. All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Let's show you what's going on the roads. First up, Luke in Pretoria is saying there's a power outage in certain parts of Hatfield. Traffic lights not working at major junctions. Stansborough, Puppy, Gordon, Jan, Schober, Grosvenor, Hilda, Festival, Pretorius, Francis. But it's going to be an issue this morning if you need to get to work in Hatfield or get through Hatfield. Of course, a lot of people travel in there for the Howe train connection as well. So coming in from Brooklyn, coming from Queenswood, coming off the highway networks into Hatfield, just expect to hit some traffic this morning, that's for sure. If you're leaving Pretoria, heading down to Joburg, here's a look at the mess that is the N1. It's a collision, a multi-vehicle pileup at Olifantsfontein this morning. You can already see the red line pushing right back to Bruckfontein Road in Centurion. You can see the graphic there. It's all lanes across the N1, heavily backed up through Centurion down towards that mid-round crash scene. Just away from that into the northwest, this is a really big deal. This is the 512 route, effectively the route that comes out of Hartbeespoort and goes up to Brits or vice versa. That road is going to be closed from today right through until March next year, March 2020. It's going to be closed at the N4 highway. It's all to do with the sort of second carriageway that's being constructed around that N4 Rustenburg highway. But from today, for the next few months, many months, the 512, you won't be able to get across that bridge and you'll need to divert. So routes like the R511, where you can get on and off and across the N4 come into play in that part of the northwest. And just from there, here's some good news from, Durban. Because of the Durban floods that happened recently, there were multiple roads closed. One of them was Blundell Road in the Shellcross area. Yesterday, that road was reopened. So that'll just start to ease a little bit of the traffic pressure through Queensborough, North Dean and Shellcross with that road now becoming reopened and usable again. Shepston Road in Pinetown and the Higginson Highway through Chatsworth, both of those major routes remaining closed. All right, that's a look at your traffic and travel arrangements this morning. Let's find out how we're set weather-wise.